Hello, good morning, students. So, very good morning to one and all. So, today I'm going to discuss about the transistor model, that is NMOS transistor model, and also we discuss about the BiCMOS inverter. Okay, this is the today's topic. So, in the last class, we discussed about the CMOS inverter, isn't? And we derive the equation for a CMOS inverter when both the transistors are in saturation, and we have shown that when the lengths of the two transistors, the pull-up and pull-down transistors are equal, the width of the pull-up transistor is 2.5 times that of the width of the NMOS transistors. All these things we discussed in the last class, right? Now, today, we discuss about that NMOS transistor models. Okay, let's go. Let me to share the screen now. Okay, this is the NMOS transistor circuit model. Okay, so basically in the NMOS transistor, you know that this is the substrate terminal, and we're having heavily doped N-type materials here, and here also N-type doped material. This is the drain terminal. Okay, so this is the source terminal. Okay, and this is the polysilicon layer, and this is the silicon dioxide, and this is the channel. Okay, this is the channel. Okay, so now we just observe the figure here. We run different capacitors and diodes in the circuit. Is it or not? So these diodes. Actually, these diodes and capacitors not present. We are not connecting this capacitors here. These are called parasitic components. Okay, these are all combinedly we can consider the transistor model, NMOS transistor model. Actually we are not having those capacitors in circuit, but during the operation, so what happened is that this parasitic component come into action, and then will degrade the. So sometimes we can increase the performance of the circuit, or sometimes we can degrade the performance of the circuit. Okay, there is the main difference in this case. Now, what are the capacitance? How the capacitance and how the diodes will be exist in this case? Not only the capacitance and diodes. Similarly, we are having different type of transistors. We can see in the next topic there. That is in case of CMOS structure. Okay, let us consider now here. This is the NMOS transistor model. So now you know that this is the N-type heavily doped N-type material, and this is the P-type substrate. Okay, now just observe here. This is N-type and this is the P-type material. So at room temperature, what happens? There exists a space charge region. So already we discussed what is the space charge region in the previous classes, isn't it? So there exists a space charge region. So this space charge region behaves like a dielectric media. Okay, similarly, the space charge region we're having. Now in this case, so what happened now? This is the P-type material, this is the N-type material. Depending upon that, you are having a diode. Okay, it behaves like a diode. Okay, this is the P material, N material. Between the P material, you are having space charge region. So it behaves like a diode. So it is one parasitic component. Similarly, this N-type material and this is the P-type material, and this space charge region behaves like a dielectric media. So there exists a capacitance, that is CSS. So this is nothing but considered as capacitance between the source and the substrate terminal. Okay, the capacitance between source and substrate, C suffix SS. So similarly, you're having the capacitance here. Just observe here in this case. This is substrate material, and this is the channel. Okay, this is the channel in this case. So this is the substrate and the channel capacitance you're having. Okay. Similarly, we are having the capacitance between the channel and the gate. Okay, channel and the gate we can call this CGC. There is capacitance between the gate and the channel. These are the capacitance. Actually, it's not present, but it is actually we are not connecting the capacitors. They are present depending upon the operation now in this case. So this silicon dioxide layer behaves like a silicon dielectric media. This is one conductor. Polysilicon behaves like a conductor, and the channel behaves like another conductor. There exists a capacitance we can call it CGC. Similarly, we are having another capacitance between the gate and the source terminal. Okay, because CGS. Okay, this capacitance, and this is the conductor. Between the 2 points, you are having another dielectric media. So there exists another capacitance. These are the other parasitic component. Okay. Similarly, between the gate and the drain, CGD, this is also a capacitance will be exists. Okay, so there is a channel, the parasitic capacitance. Similarly, between the drain and the source terminal, you're having a capacitance between the drain and source terminal. So there is a dielectric media. Space charge region behaves like a dielectric media. So there exists a parallel plate capacitor. Once again, here also again a diode similar to that of this one. N material and P material, the chance of existence of the capacitance diode. Okay, so like this, we are having a number of capacitors and also the diodes which are present in the circuit. Okay, so these capacitance and diode capacitance basically changes the delay frequency response of the transistor. At the same time, depending upon the capacitance value. So what happens there? Similarly, you're having some resistances there. So depend the delay also depending upon the same concept here. Okay, so that is the main different component. That is the parasitic component present in the NMOS transistor model. Okay, these are the main important capacitance. So similarly, we are having the drain to source capacitance. There is the drain to substrate capacitance and the channel capacitance. There is channel to substrate capacitance. Simply you can call it CS. Okay, so these are channel to. This is the called channel to substrate capacitance. Simply you can call it substrate capacitance. Okay, so that is the different for capacitance in the diodes that exist inside the transistor model. Okay, that is about a MOS transistor circuit model. Okay, so remember, depending upon the frequency, frequency of operation, so these capacitors will affect the response. Okay, so some capacitors will be responsible for the reduction in the output gain. So some capacitors will be reduction in the delays. Okay, all these come in depending upon these parasitic capacitance. Okay, that is about the MOS transistor circuit model. Okay, now let's go to the most important topic, that is BiCMOS inverter. Okay, let's go to the main important technology. There is a technology that is called BiCMOS technology. So what is the meaning of BiCMOS technology? So this technology uses both bipolar technology as well as the complementary metal oxide semiconductor technology. Okay, so remember, the main drawback of the CMOS technology is it is not able to drive heavy loads. That is the main drawback of the CMOS technology. In the CMOS technology, the power dissipation is also very less. So therefore, and also the static current, because the current between the rail to rail is also very less. Okay, so these are the advantages. But the main disadvantage of the CMOS technology is it is not able to drive heavy loads. Okay, it is not able to drive heavy loads. That is the main drawback of the CMOS in technology. That can be overcome by using a BiCMOS technology. Okay, that can be overcome by using a BiCMOS technology. That means we are going to incorporate. Okay, we are going to fabricate the bipolar junction transistors in the CMOS structures, BiCMOS structure in this case. That means we are using these bipolar junction transistors in the output stages. Okay, if you introduce the bipolar junction transistor in output stage, what happens is the output drive will be increases. Okay, its output drive will be increased. That means it is able to drive heavy loads also. That is the main advantages of the this BiCMOS technology. Okay, so now we see how the circuit operate in this case. Now let's go for the BiCMOS inverters. Okay, so already we've seen the different type of inverters, the different technologies. The first NMOS technology, we have studied about NMOS inverters. Similarly, we studied about CMOS inverters. Now, what are the main changes in the NMOS technology? Because we are using in the NMOS technology, we require only 2 transistors. Both the transistors are N channel only. Okay, one is depletion mode transistor, we call pull up, and another is pull down transistor, is enhancement mode transistors. Right now, similarly, in case of CMOS technology, we are having 2 complementary transistors, a P channel and N channel. The P channel behaves like a pull up and N channel behaves like a pull down. Okay, so this is the CMOS technology. Okay, here also we are using only 2 transistors. But come to the BiCMOS inverters. So we require extra transistors here, two transistors, just observe here, okay, transistor. And the circuit also somewhat different in this case. This is the p-type channel. So this and this transistor behaves like a CMOS configuration, and we are having the bipolar junction transistor which are placed in the output level, output side to drive the heavy load. This is the heavy load we can consider here. Okay, capacitive load is nothing but we can call it a heavy load. A simple load is nothing but a resistor, but it is a capacitive load. Okay, so this is the complex load, you can say. So now in this case, so this is the CMOS structure, and this is the bipolar junction transistors. So totally we can combine these bipolar junction transistors into the CMOS structure is known as the BiCMOS technology. Now just in case of inverter, we're having one p-type transistor, another is p-channel, n-channel transistors here, and we're having the two transistors. We are going to connect in this fashion. Okay, just observe here. These are the p-type transistor. The p-type transistor, the drain of the p-type transistor drives the base of the transistor T2, right? Similarly, source of the n-channel FET, okay, n-channel enhancement mode transistor drives the base of the transistor T1. Okay, so therefore we can say that at any time only one transistor will conduct. Okay, only at any time only one transistor will be conduct. Now how the transistor will be conduct? Now we'll see the operation of this BiCMOS technology in this case, right? Let us consider, the inverter. This is the function of this circuit diagram. This schematic indicates the inverter schematic. Okay, so therefore, what is the inverter? Basically, if you give the signal low, you will get the output is high. Similarly, if you give the high input, you get the low output. So now just we can observe here how the circuit behaves in this case. Okay, operation in this case. Let us consider the input is 0. Assume that input is 0. When the input is 0, so what happens? The transistor, this is the enhancement, n-channel enhancement mode transistor. So that 0 volts means the CMOS technology, it is the negative voltage basically. So therefore, we can consider that this voltage is very low compared to the threshold voltage of this transistor. This transistor is off condition, right? This transistor is off condition. Now, because of the low voltage is applied at the gate of the transistor T4, so this transistor will be turns on, right? This transistor will be turns on. When this transistor turns on, this supplies the base drive to this transistor T2. Okay, this transistor is responsible to send the base drive to this transistor T2, so that this transistor T2 is turns on. Okay, so when this transistor bit turns on, so what happens? It supplies the base drive, so large amount of current to the base of the transistor T2. So therefore, the transistor T2 will be turns on. When this transistor turns on, so what happened now? Okay, you will see now. This turns on. Remember that point. Now at the same time, this transistor is turns off. But what happened now when this transistor turns is not able to drive the transistor T1, is not able to is not able to apply the base drive, sufficient base drive to the transistor T1. So therefore, this transistor T1 is off condition, right? When this transistor is off and this transistor is on, so what happened now? This capacitor will be charges through this circuit like this. Okay, this capacitor will be charges in this direction towards the value of VDD. Okay, towards the value of VDD, this capacitor will be charges. So that is the main thing you remember here, right? So that means what? The capacitor charges to the value of VDD. So when the input is 0, so what happens? The output goes to the value of VDD. So therefore, the capacitor completely charges to the value of VDD. That indicates the output voltage is high. Okay, so we are giving the input signal is low, but we are getting the output is high. So this is the inverter action. Okay, similarly, when you apply the input voltage is 0, 1 here, so logic 1. So what happens when you apply logic 1 here? This transistor will be turns off and is not able to drive the transistor T2. So this transistor is also off condition. Okay, so now because of this high voltage, so what happens? This transistor will be turns on. Okay, this transistor is turns on. When this transistor is turns on, it is able to drive the transistor T1. That means this transistor supply the sufficient base current or sufficient base drive to this transistor T1. So therefore, the transistor T1 is turns on. When this transistor is turns on, whatever the voltage is there, the capacitor voltage across the capacitor is there, that capacitor will completely discharges to this transistor T1 because it provides the low resistance path. So therefore, whatever the voltage is there at the output terminal, okay, initially it is high state, for example. So that voltage will be completely dropped to ground level. So the output voltage goes to 0 level. So low state. So when the input is high, the output will be low state. So that means logically this circuit is correct. Okay. But what happened is this, even though this circuit is not widely used, okay, this circuit is not widely used as a BiCMOS inverter. Because why? Because just observe now here, when logic one condition, when the logic one condition, there is a sufficient considerable amount of current which flow from VDD line to ground line. Okay, how means when this transistor, when the input is high state, this transistor is on and this transistor is also on. These two transistors will be off condition. There is T4 is off, T2 is off, T3 is on, and T1 is on. When these two transistors are on condition, there exists a short circuit between VDD line to ground line. So in this form, okay, through this transistor T3 and T1. Okay, so there exists a short circuit path. So there is some amount of current, the static current will flow from VDD line to VSS line. So there is undesirable. Okay, so therefore power dissipation will be very high in this case. So this is undesirable. So therefore we cannot use this type of circuit. At the same time, another drawback is also exists in this case. Since when the transistor is turns on, so this bipolar junction transistor, because during the operation of the transistor, so there is some amount of charges are stored at the base of the transistor. Okay, when the transistor is on, so some amount of charges are stored. So when these charges cannot be discharged, there is no discharge drive path for this base drive when this transistor be turns off. Okay, when the transistor is off condition, there's no path to discharge the base of the transistor T2. And similarly, the transistor T1, when this is off condition, there is no base drive. There is no base path to discharge the what are the charges are which are stored in the during the on condition. So it requires very large time, more time to again to turn on these transistors. Okay, so to turn on this transistor when on to off condition, so off to on condition, we have to remove all the charges which are present in the base region, previous charges, previously on condition, what are the charges are there. All these charges we have to remove, and then again we have to store the charges. So it will require very long time. That means the transistor will be turns on after some time. So that will increase the delay of the BiCMOS inverter. So the speed will be reduces. So because of this circuit is not widely used. Okay, these two conditions you have to remember in this case. There is no base drive. There is no base path for the base to discharge the off transistors. Similarly, there is no path for off transistor discharge. Okay, that's why this circuit is not widely used. So what is the next alternative in this case? So we can go for the next alternative. Instead of connecting this connection, okay, instead of connecting drain of the transistor T3 to VDD, we are going to connect this drain of the transistor T3 to the output terminal here. Okay, just now to see here in this case. Okay, just see. Just instead of connecting this one directly to here, we are going to connect this pointer in this case. So again, check the condition, whether it is the perfectly operate or not. So 0 volts, this is on condition. It supplies a sufficient amount of current to the transistor T2. So this is also on, and this is off, and this is also off condition. So these two transistors will be off, and these two transistors will be on condition when the input is 0. So what happened? The capacitor again charges to the value of VDD. Okay, we are getting the output is high. Similarly, when the input is low condition, so what happened? Low, okay, high condition, what happened? So again, okay, when the input is high, so these two transistors will be turned on. When this transistor turns on, it supplies sufficient amount of current base drive to this transistor T1. So therefore, this transistor will be turned on. But this transistor is off condition when the input is high. So what happens? This is not able to drive the transistor T2, so it is off condition. Whatever the voltage is there, that will be discharges. Capacitor voltage again discharges. So that means the transistor operation will be good. But another condition in this case, in this circuit is, we are going to eliminate it when the logic 1 is applied. The previous case, what happened? There is a some amount of current flow from VDD line to VSS line, but this can be eliminated by connecting this terminal to the output. Okay, so but the second condition, that is when the transistor is off, T2 is off condition, there is some amount of charges are there in the base, so that cannot be discharged. Okay, again it will take very long time. Again, to on this transistor, we have to wait for to remove the charges, again back to the again to enter the again to change the on condition. So it will take time, some time. So therefore, it again increase the delay. Okay, so the speed is again reduces. So that's why this circuit is also not widely used. Okay, this circuit is not widely used. So instead of this circuit, what do we do now? What is the drawback in this case? When the T1 and T2s are off condition, there is no sufficient path for discharge. Based what are the charges are stored during the on condition of T1 and T2s, there is some amount of charges are stored in the base of the transistor. That charges cannot be removed. Okay, so therefore we are providing some path for this transistor T1 and T2. So therefore, we are going to replace the circuit once again here. We are going to introduce two resistors to discharge the base of the transistor off condition of the transistors. So now we are going to connect this path here, just connecting the resistance between these 2 points like this. Okay, we are connecting the resistance between, and we are going to use the resistor here, and another resistance we are going to place at this point. Okay, we are having these type of 2 connections at this point. So in this case, what happened now? See, again, same method. Okay, when the input is high, low state, for example, when the input is low, this transistor is on, it supplies the sufficient base current to this transistor. So therefore, this is also on condition. These 2 transistors will be off condition. So what happened? So this is on and this is on. Okay, and this is off and this is off. So what happened? The capacitor voltage charges to the value of VDD. So we are getting the high voltage. Okay. Similarly, high voltage is applied. These 2 transistors will be turns on. These 2 transistors will be turns off. Again, the output drop to 0. But now just observe here in this case, when the input is high, okay, when the input is high, or input is low, whatever the concept in this case, assume that when this transistor is on, okay, initially this transistor is off. So when it is off condition, during the on condition of the transistor T1, some amount of charges are stored in the base region. When this transistor turns off, so whatever the charges are present in the base of the transistor, that will be discharged through this resistor R to the ground. Okay, so we are having the path to discharge the base point when this transistor is off condition. We are giving the path here. So it is discharges to this resistor R2. So whatever the charges are present in the base region, it will be completely removed, and it is ready for the next on condition. Okay, similarly, when this transistor is off condition and this is on condition, okay, so now when it is off condition, what are the charges are present in this case? It will be discharged through this resistor to the ground. Okay, because this transistor is on condition here, so it will be discharges completely like this. So this we are having the providing the path for the discharge of the transistor T2 when it is off condition. Okay, so there is no static current flow from VDD line to VSS line. So this condition will be satisfied. And the second condition also satisfied. The base discharge is provided now, but also this circuit is not widely used because, why? Because these are the discrete components. R1 and R2 are the discrete components. So to fabricate these resistors R1 and R2 requires very large space in the integrated circuit. Okay, so therefore we are not going to incorporate a resistor R1 and R2 in the by CMOS technology in this circuit. So therefore this circuit is not useful. Okay, it requires very large spaces. Okay, it requires very large space, so that this circuit is not used. Now instead of these resistors, we can provide the transistor to base drive. Okay, for the transistor T2, 3 transistor we can provide, and for this transistor also the base drive of the transistor will be discharges 3 transistor. So we can use the transistors instead of these 2 resistors. So now let's go to see the circuit now in this case. Just come to here. Okay, so this is the circuit diagram of the actual BiCMOS inverter circuit. So it provides the base drive also, base current to discharge. So how we will see now in this case? This is the actual T, just see T2, T1, T3, T4 is the actual circuit, and we are providing the transistor T5 to discharge the base of the transistor T2 when it is off condition. Similarly, we are providing another transistor which is required to remove the base charges. Okay, remove the base charges when this transistor bit turns off, so that this will be on condition. When the transistor is T1 is off, this will be on condition. Remember, okay, this will be on condition so that it will be completely discharges. And so similarly, when this transistor is off, this transistor must be on condition. So it provides the path for the base to discharge. Okay. Now let's see whether these two conditions is satisfied or not now in this case. Okay. So now just observe here, when the input is zero, when the input is zero. Okay. So this is the N channel P channel FET, and this is the N channel FET. When the input is zero, this transistor is on, this transistor is on. Oh, when this zero is applied, so what happens? This transistor is off and this transistor is off, because these two are N channel FETs. This is a P channel FET, so it is on condition. When this is on condition, it provides the base current to the transistor T2, and this transistor T2 is on condition, right? So these two transistors are off, is not able to provide the base current to this transistor. This is always in the off condition. But because this transistor is supply the base current to the transistor T2, so this whatever the voltage drop across this transistor is there here. So because this transistor is on condition, this transistor is on, so this will be connected to VDD line. So this provides the base drive, gate drive to this transistor T6. So this transistor is on condition. Okay. So remember now, when the low signal is there, this is high, this is high, this is high, and this is on. This is on, this is on, this is on. That is T4, T2, and T6 is on condition. T5, T3, and T1 is off condition. So what happened now in this case? So the output will be charges to the value of VDD. Okay, output will be charges to the value of VDD now in this case. So you are getting the logic 1 state. Okay, the logic will be satisfied. But what happened now in this case? Because the transistor is off in this case. Okay, so it is having some charges in the base. That base charge, that means what are the charges are present in the base region of this transistor during the off condition, that can be discharged through this transistor, because the transistor is connected to this point. It is the voltage high state, in this case connected to VDD line. So this is on condition. So when it is on condition, provide the low resistance path. So therefore, what are the base charges there when the transistor T1 is off? So what are the base is there? Base charges are there. So that will be completed discharges here, right? Similarly, when the logic 1 is applied, okay, when the logic 1 is applied, T5, T3 is on condition, and T4 and T2 is off condition. When the T3 is on condition, it's sufficient base current applied to the base of the transistor T1. So the transistor T1 also on condition. But another thing is T6. What is the condition of the T6 now in this case? Because now just observe here in this case, T6, which is on condition now, 1 state. Okay, T5, T3 is on condition, sufficient current T1. So 1 state, this transistor is off, so it is not able to supply the sufficient base current, base drive to this transistor T2. So the transistor T2 is off condition. Now, when this transistor T2 is off, okay, so this transistor is also off condition. Is not able to apply the base voltage, okay, gate voltage. So when this transistor is off condition, so what happened? This transistor is on condition because the input is high state. So what are the base charges are present in the transistor T2 that will be discharged through this transistor T5 to the ground. So that means we are is not having any static current. It can be eliminated, and also the base charges also, base current discharge also possible in this case, and also it provides a very good logic 1 and logic 0 in the circuit. Okay, so that is the main advantages of the circuit now in this case. So this is the basic BiCMOS circuit, in BiCMOS inverter circuit. Now just observe how many number of transistors we are having in this case. Okay, so totally we are having how many number of, because we require only in NMOS technology, in order to get the NOT operation, inverter operation, we require only 2 transistors. The BiCMOS CMOS circuit also we require only 2 transistors. But come to here, the BiCMOS technology, as the technologies goes on increase, the complexity of the circuit is also increases, right? So because the technology increases, in this case, what happened? We are having number of transistors we are going to incorporate. We are using in this case to get the logic level. Okay, but main advantage of this circuit is because of these transistors, the transistor, the bipolar junction transistors is able to drive heavy loads. Okay, because of presence of this transistor T1 and T2s. So what happened is it is able to drive heavy loads during the low condition and high condition of the output. So therefore, this is the advantage of the BiCMOS circuit in this case, and also the speed is also good in this case. Okay, so because we are going to eliminate all the concept, but what is the only problem in this case is the circuit complexity is very high. Okay, that is the sigma. That's so we are having how many number of transistors? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 transistors required to get for only one input. We are having 6 number of transistors to implement this logic. Okay, so compared to number of transistors in NMOS and CMOS, in this case very high. So the complexity is also very, very high. Okay, so now this is the circuit diagram and this is the operation of the BiCMOS inverters. Okay, so now let's go to just observe here, the complexity is very high. So for only one input, we are having the 6 number of transistors. If the number of 2 transistors inputs are goes on increase, the Boolean function is number of variables in the Boolean function is increased. So what happened? The complexity of the BiCMOS technology is again goes on increase. Okay. Now how to draw the circuit diagram for AND gate, so NAND gate, NOR gate, 2 input NAND gate, 3 input NAND gate, any number of variables. See, compared to the CMOS technology, the complexity increases here. So then how to identify, how to draw the diagrams? For this case, we are having very simple mechanism, simple technique to draw this BiCMOS technology. Okay, to draw the any logic function in the BiCMOS technology. Okay, no need to mug the circuit now in this case. Just we will see in the next slide. We will go for the block diagram of the BiCMOS technology. Okay, just see. This is the general block diagram of the BiCMOS circuit. General block diagram. So to draw the BiCMOS technology, what we require, the name itself indicates the BiCMOS. BiCMOS. That means it is the combination of CMOS technology as well as the BiCMOS technology. What is the CMOS technology? CMOS technology is a combination of N block and P block. That means we are having PMOS circuits as well as the NMOS circuit. Okay, NMOS circuits. The NMOS technology we are using in the pull-down transistors, and we are having the pull-up transistors as the PMOS technology. Okay, so that means the CMOS technology consists of P block as well as the N block. So whatever the logic is there in the N block, okay, in the CMOS technology, same logic you can use in this N block. Okay, so just remember, don't confuse in this case. The CMOS technology basically consists of 2 blocks. One is P block and there is N block. So whatever the technology we are using, whatever the logic we are using in the N block, the same block again we are going to use here, whatever the connection and also the number of transistors, the same connection. Okay, and then remaining will be same for all the cases. Okay, remaining means this transistor, this transistor, this transistor is common for all the logic. Okay, this will be the common for all the logic. So how to identify this one? So let's go for the CMOS block. So the top of the CMOS block will be, that is the, we can consider the source of the PMOS circuits. Okay, in the PMOS block, which are connected to the VDD line. Okay, and VDD line, just remember. So the collector of this transistor T2 and this transistor connected to VDD line, then we can call this the top of the CMOS block will be connected to the VDD line. Similarly, the bottom of the CMOS block will be connected to the ground. Remember, these are the main important thing. And the output will be connected to the base of the one transistor. Okay, base of the one transistor. Similarly, in the N block, the top of the N block will be connected to the output terminal. Okay, output are common of these 2 transistors, and the bottom of the N block will be connected to the base of the transistor T1. So this is the main important circuit. Okay, the input will be same input given to the CMOS and also N block. Okay, same input will be given to the CMOS and N block, and these 2 points will be short circuited. Okay, emitter of this transistor T2 is connected to the collector of the transistor T1, and we are going to connect the joint here. the output N block of the top of the N block will be connected to the output terminals. We are taking the output from here, and we are having base drive. Okay, when this transistor T2 is off condition, T1 is off condition, we require the base drive to discharge the base of the transistor. So this is the function of the transistor T6 here. Okay, so it can be drive from this point here, base point, base of the transistor T2 to connected here. When this is off condition, this is on condition. Okay, when this is off condition, this is on condition. Okay, when it is off, this is on. So that on volt condition on the transistor T6. So there will be base of the base current will be discharges layer. Okay, this is the circuit diagram you have to remember. Now we'll see how to analyze the circuit now in this case. Let's go for the inverter, CMOS inverter. Okay, this is not a CMOS inverter, it's a BiCMOS inverter. Just note down here is the BiCMOS. Okay, BiCMOS is not a CMOS inverter. Okay, BiCMOS. So therefore, first to take a CMOS inverter, this is the CMOS inverter. Draw the CMOS inverter simply. Okay, so in the CMOS inverter, this is the P block and this is the N block. We are having only one transistor in the N block. Take the same N block transistor here. Okay, take the same, whatever the logic we are having here, you take it as it is here. Okay, see the bottom of the CMOS will be connected to the ground. So the bottom of the CMOS is connected to the ground, and we are taking the N block here. This is the N block. So this place in this point. So now just observe, top of the N block is connected to the output terminal, and bottom of the N block is connected to the base of the transistor T1, and the output of the CMOS will be connected to the base of the transistor T1. This is the output terminal which is connected here, and this transistor gate is connected to this point. Transistor will be connected to this point. So this point is ground, this point is ground. Remaining will be same. Okay, just compare this circuit, okay, with the previous circuit here. Both are same in this case. Okay, that means once you know the block diagram, you can implement any circuit in the BiCMOS technology. So don't confuse in this case. So remember this block diagram. Okay, remember this block diagram to draw any logic function. Okay, any logic function in the BiCMOS technology. Remember, only Boolean function must have whole complementation. This will be satisfies. Okay, a Boolean function having full complementation in the Boolean function, that means NAND, NOR, like this. Okay, that can be complement. So again, to get the AND function, again the same structure we have to connect the other output. Okay, that's the concept. So remember this point in this case. This is the main block diagram in this case, right? So that completes today's class. So any doubt, please ask me in the next class. Okay. So see you in the next class, my dear students. So I'm going to stop the screen.